Hello. I wanted to talk about then how do you start to open up your heart? How do you actually do it? What is needed in order to learn how to open up your heart? So far I've talked a lot about different ways that your heart has been shut down, different ways of neglect growing up that made your heart shut down because of pain, the pain that was inflicted on you when you had an open heart. When you're born, you're having an open heart, and then you get hurt, and then you close your heart, and you start to repeat your parents' mistakes. So I talked about how the heart gets shut down. And I also talked a lot about anxiety, how to understand anxiety as information, like how to work with your anxiety, like anxiety contains a lot of information that can be helpful for you. But anxiety is also one reason that you cannot open your heart. Anxiety is fear, and fear is closing the system. Fear is very engaged in noticing threats. Anxiety, as I've said in other videos, produces thoughts that is threat related. So anxiety, when you have anxiety in your body, when you have a fearful state in your body, it's going to produce very negative thoughts. It's very difficult to produce positive thoughts when you have fear in your body. Fear and positivity doesn't go together. Well, it can, but then it's toxic positivity. Like it's when you're very happy, but it's actually just to cover up some fear. So it's not really happiness and positivity. So physiological tension in your body, fear, doesn't go well together with the open state of love. Right? It's just logic. You cannot experience love if you are scared. So that's very frustrating if you're a person who has a lot of anxiety. I mean, you can learn to regulate your anxiety, and you can learn how to use your anxiety as a superpower, as I was talking about, like as a gift. Because if you're very prone to anxiety, then you are very sensitive to stimuli in this world. And you sort of have to work with grounding yourself and having boundaries for yourself, and to sort of settle into yourself so that you can actually eventually can reprogram yourself to understand that the world isn't only a dangerous place because if you are safe in yourself, then the world also will be safer for you, or you will be able to better distinguish safe or dangerous situations. So, it's again that inner work of finding safety in yourself. But my point is that it's very difficult to open up your heart and to try to learn how to love unconditionally if you have problems with anxiety. It doesn't go together. So I would say, in order for you to really know what an open heart is, and to really crack your heart open and to know what love is, you have to get help with, you have to find a way to find relaxation in your body, one way or another. A relaxed body and love goes very well together. Anxiety and love, it doesn't go well together. Anxiety and control goes very well together. And I talked in another video about how the foundation of, experience love is the experience of someone who took your perspectives and learned how you can take your own perspective. So taking your own perspective to really understanding yourself is also like a foundation for love. Like it's a condition where love can grow. But another factor that I'm talking about in this video that is as important is the ability to be relaxed. It's very difficult to help love grow in you if you are tense and if you are in a threat state. So by saying this, I must say I have complete understanding of people with threats and traumas in their body for their whole life who take drugs in order to get some release. I completely understand it because it's, it's actually quite horrible to, when to if you have anxiety problems, if you ever had experienced anxiety, you know what I'm talking about. If you have this your whole life, your body gets very drained. I mean, it's and if it's severe, it's very, very difficult to live a normal life if you have like a high anxiety. I'm not talking about, getting anxious a bit every now and then, because again, then of course you can open up your heart and then you get some anxiety and then you're open again. I'm talking about if you're anxious like all the time. That's not a nice state to be in. So I completely understand that if you it's like that for you, that you want to get some release every now and then by becoming addicted to something. And it doesn't have to be drugs. It can be whatever makes your boat float, whatever makes you relaxed. Just an addiction of some sort, whatever makes you relaxed. So I understand it, but the problem is that if you don't take this addiction, or if you don't take this whatever you're addicted to, if you don't do this intentionally, if you don't try to integrate the relaxed state into your daily life so that you eventually can learn how to be relaxed without being dependent on something, then, as we know, obviously it's destructive and it's not helping you. It's just, it's just making you feel less love. It's just making your heart ache more. So this anxiety that I'm talking about is more anxiety in the sympathetic nervous system, which is more, fight, flight, where it's more evident that you're anxious. But there might also be that you're anxious, but more in the parasympathetic nervous system. So it's more like you're scared, but it's more like you're shutting down. So then you're more depressive. It's not like you're evident anxious, but that's also anxiety, but it's more like you're becoming more and more dead. And for that state, for that position, it's also impossible to simultaneously open up the heart. So the source, the root, is anxiety. It doesn't go well with open up the heart, but the anxiety can take different forms, either more expressively, like sympathetic nervous system, or more, going dead, shutting down. And again, most people then handle this fear, this anxiety by escaping or numbing themselves by different sorts of addictions, like drugs that makes you feel in a certain way, or alcohol, or drugs that making you feel calm, or social media, scrolling social media, computer games is for sure can be a numbness in that, or that you're distracted from yourself and engaging in other worlds. Masturbating excessively is can also be an addiction, and sort of to distract yourself from your anxiety. Engaging in sort of in relationships or hobbies or work again. So it's all of these ways where you try to regulate your anxiety, try to find release. Yeah. So life is a lot about, it's difficult to be a human. It's difficult to have this earthly experience. It's difficult to have this body, this earthly body, because it's painful. It's achy. It's fragile. You have to take care of it. You have to nourish it. It has to sleep. The body needs a lot. It's often, it's, and if you don't understand it, then it's gonna punish us with some problems. So our earthly body needs a lot, and I just want to point out how difficult it is, to live in this body of flesh and blood. It's not easy. It gets sick, and again, it's very sensitive. It gets anxious, and it's very sensitive, our body. That's my point. So I want to have some compassion for us humans, that we're really seeking release all the time from our body. It's not easy to be a human being. It's a lot of suffering it can be a lot of suffering if we avoid the pain in us. Like a famous psychoanalyst, I think, Reichmann, Frida from Reichmann or something like that. Actually, one of my teachers taught me this, and she said, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. So that's true. We can, we can we can never escape our pain. We can never escape the wounds we have. We can never escape how our hearts, once were broken, we can never escape that healing. The pain will always be there, but if we escape, then there will be suffering in our life in some way or another, in our body, how the body operates, or in how we behave in our work, in our finances, in our relationships. So that's going to be suffering. So that's a choice. We cannot escape our pain, but suffering is a choice. But with that said, again, it's not easy to face your pain. It's not easy to know that you have pain inside, that you have a heart that you need to heal. So then we release our pain temporarily by different kinds of addictions. So that's understandable. However, it's not going to help us to open up our hearts for a sustainable time. And to be home and relaxed in your body and taking your own perspective is a foundation. It's a precondition for love to really grow in you, to really let go of your addictions or let go of your fear so that love can come in. So that must be in place. A relaxed body must be in place, and you doing different sort of meditation exercises to take your perspective, to ground yourself and take your perspective, must also be in place. Both of those factors are super important to help the heart to crack open, to make it feel safe to crack open. So, how do you do that? Well, taking your perspective, that was maybe the easier one. That was doing the meditations and all that to reprogram yourself. The more difficult one is to really reprogram the fear that started at a very young age, maybe the moment you were born. To be honest, to be born must be a very, shocking, traumatic experience. And if you don't immediately get the warmth and healing from your mother, or when you continue growing up, if you're not healed from that traumatic experience of being born, then the fear it starts and it stays in you. And not to talk about also how generational fear is already maybe in you when you are born. So there is a lot there already. So that fear state, it's more difficult to reprogram because it's so physical. You are not the boss over it anymore. You are more flexible as a child, but if the fear has settled, then it's I want to give you compassion for how difficult it is to reprogram a sustainable solution for your body, to reprogram fear state into relaxed state. But that is what you need to do. So of course there are a lot of things to do about it, so going to therapy and all that, but we'll talk about that in another video, how you might actually, I met a lot of patients like that, you might end up just sustaining the fear state by just doing a lot of things, like going to different kinds of therapy, reading different kinds of self-help books, but it's not really, you're just continuing the fear state, you're just chasing and escaping yourself. So I want to be careful with saying you should go to therapy, because the intention has to be right. I want you to get help with yourself, but really with the intention of, or with the understanding of, the answer is in you. It's all about coming home. It's not about what someone else is giving you. It's not about another substance. It's not about someone else. It's about you coming home to yourself. So yeah, therapy and books and retreats can help you to get, inspiration. But know that it's just that. It's not, no one can heal you. I hate to break it for you, but no one can heal you. The best therapist in the world cannot heal you. The healing is inside of you. So the best therapist in the world can start that healing in yourself. And that's what psychedelics can do also, if you understand that that's how it goes. It's about healing yourself. It doesn't come from an external force, but you might need help from an external force. But then again, take my advice if you want, but I think it's good advice that use the external force only to trigger something in you that's already there, only as inspiration, not as a mindset that, oh, this is gonna help me, this is gonna heal me. It makes all the difference how you think about it. You wouldn't think like that, but it makes a difference what your intention and what your mindset is about this help. Stop thinking external focus. This is gonna help me. No, okay, this is something, this is gonna inspire me to help myself. It makes all the difference the way you think about it. So again, coming back to how to regulate your nervous system, how to find relaxation. The same thing. I don't judge you if you need to take some substance, or if you need to take some, if you're addicted to something. I understand that. If it's like really a physical addiction, then you need to stop it, obviously, because then you have no power of it. But if it doesn't really that a physical addiction, like psychedelics, you can be psychologically addicted to psychedelics, I think, but not physiologically. But if it's not a physiological addiction, then use the external force to relax yourself, but with the intention that you're going to learn about the relaxed state, so that you can reprogram yourself and the body can learn, okay, this is how it feels to be relaxed. And now I'm going to take that in. I'm going to awaken my own healing intelligence, if you will, so that I can make myself relax, so that will not be dependent on something else to make me feel relaxed. And it's the same if you are too relaxed, if you are relaxed in the parasympathetic nervous system, so you are shut down and you need some external force to wake up again. If you're going to do that, I don't judge you, but please, then if you're going to do that, do it intentionally. I'm using this in order to learn my body to wake up, in order to learn my body to wake up from the deadness, so that I can find how to do it myself. But it's best if you don't need an external force, if you can do the work yourself, if you have time to really meditate. And meditate is also a difficult word, I think, because the moment you say meditate, then people think, okay, I'm going to sit in this special lotus position and I'm going to do this in a certain way and I'm going to have an assignment, and they do it because, they think they're doing good when they do it. So meditation is a difficult word because it triggers that association in you. So just the ability to sit with yourself, and to notice what comes up, not as an assignment, not to achieve something, but that's really the work. It's in order to calm your nervous system down. And sometimes you need release of emotions, but that's often not the solution, to just release emotions, because then after a while you often goes back, not all the time, but often you go back to the tense nervous system again because that's also release. You can be addicted to have emotional breakthroughs. I actually was addicted to that. I was addicted to I was chasing emotional breakthroughs. I went to a lot of therapies and retreats, and I thought that was the thing. Just if I had that emotional breakthroughs, then I'm going to be healed. I'm going to be healed. But it didn't happen. It didn't happen that way. It was just another form of addiction. It was just another form of release. Just as it is to take a drug or to play video games. To me, it was just the same. So I was addicted to trauma, to, digging into my trauma and to have emotional release. It's just stupid, but it's understandable. It's human. So I don't think the solution is there in the releases. It's in, the ability to sit with yourself. It's in the stillness, to quiet your mind and to quiet your emotions actually, and to just be able to sit with yourself calmly and make your body understand that it's safe and that it's calm. It doesn't need to chase or feel or numb. It just can be calm. So you need to, explore your ways in order to find that stillness in you, so that your nervous system finally can relax, or that it can awaken if you're the parasympathetic style nervous system, if you're more dead, so that you can, grow the foundation of start to opening your heart up. Without this relaxed state, you cannot open your heart and experience love. And if you're already in that path, if you're on that path of you have been starting to open up your heart more in your life, then you will also notice that it's like this dance of you open up and then you get anxious and you shut down again. And then you open up some more and then you get anxious and shut down again. And you open up some more and you get anxious and shut down again. So that's a prediction. That's normal. That's how it goes. So don't be sad if you open up and then shut down again. That's just how the body needs to flow with it. That's how it needs to learn. It's not a catharsis movement and then you're free like a bird and let go. It's more like you open up and then you need to calm down again. You set yourself free and you need to come home to the home again, which is the closed home. So it's not a good home, but it's the home. So you have to have a respect for that. And then you set yourself free again. You go out and open up and explore, and then you shut down again. And eventually, if you do that, if you hang in there, if you have patience, then eventually, I'm sure you will be able to have your heart open. You have your heart open in a safe way throughout your life. And the more you open up the heart, the more relaxed you will be. The more relaxed you are, the more you can open up your heart. So it's like also a dance in that way. And then to make a point also about, but open heart, is that really good? Like, isn't that you need to protect yourself? It's not good to be that open. You can be invaded and so on and so forth. And you need to have boundaries and you need to, be in charge. But to have an open heart is not to be open to whatever invasion there is. If you're open to invasion, that's because you're scared and you have like no autonomy. You have no boundaries in yourself. But if you really have an open heart, then you're grounded. And when you're grounded, you have boundaries in your autonomy. Like if you've done the exercises, if you have the dialogue with yourself, then that in itself is boundaries. Then you don't need to set boundaries like don't touch me or don't do that, don't come close. You don't need to do that. That comes out of fear. Because the boundaries is already that you're home in yourself. Your home is the boundary. So if you're grounded, if you're relaxed and in that state, then open up your heart, then it's a safe opening. Then you are protected by your autonomy. Of course, if you're directly attacked or if someone is threatening you, of course, then you need to, take action. Then it's not enough with an open heart and autonomy. But in your day-to-day life, you don't need to set as much boundaries to protect yourself as you would think. And because and opening up is not a risk to be invaded like in a naive way, because some people have had that experience that have been too open and naive and been used, but then they haven't done the work of doing the inner grounded dialogue with themselves. So grounded and open. It's always those contradictory relationship of holding on, letting go, and grounded, like closed, grounded, home, free, free responsibility. It's always that dance. So I hope this helped you to give some knowledge on like if you've been stuck. I mean, if you've been stuck in I want to live more in line with love, then this might have been some clues about why you can't, because you're still in a fear state. So the body is not only mind, it's not only body, it's both. So the body has to be relaxed, and the mind, you have to do the work with the inner dialogue and take your perspective. So with those in place, then you can start to open up to life and and to positive, to higher vibe, and to have another whole lot other perspective of life and of people and yourself, and grow more into to have unconditional love for yourself and for the planet. Actually, someone asked that question, like self-neglect, and what about the neglect of the planet? Yeah, that's totally a correlation. Like the more we neglect ourselves, of course we're gonna neglect our source, Mother Nature, as well. So that goes together. The more we find love in ourselves, then we will also take better care of Mother Earth, our planet. So I hope you found this video inspirational. Not a solution for anything. I'm not, and no YouTube video is the solution to your healing, but it can be inspiration, and it can be a catalyst for your own inner change. So the work always starts and ends in you. But I hope this gave you something, started something in you. Please comment if you have any reflections on this and experience of what I'm talking about, or if it's something you didn't like, or some feedback. I appreciate a lot, and it makes me wanting to move on with this or go on with these videos. So thank you for that, and have a nice day.